Hello all. The ravens are in this park as well, and they're giving me signs that they don't like colorful shirts, I think. Or maybe it's the hat. Who knows? But let's go that way and see if we can't find a better place to do a video. A little noisy here. Okay, we've ducked into a little section. Hopefully it'll be human free for a few minutes, but it certainly has tons of mosquitoes. That's the only reason humans aren't here. I have to talk about what's happening when we devastate a forest, when we take forests away and don't replace them. The problem is that when we take away the natural forest and put in a human forest, you end up with a lot of forest fire, which causes a lot of soot, which deposits that soot up on the ice in the North and South poles, which then causes dramatic melting and has so many more consequences. Between 2001 and 2010, we lost 40% of our forests on the planet Earth. Since that has happened, the Arctic has seen a 4.5 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature just since 2001. So there are many animals in the Arctic that are becoming extinct or endangered, like the fox, the Arctic fox, the falcons, reindeer. I mean, who ever thought we'd lose reindeer? The Norway and the musk oxen. But the one that we're sort of paying attention to more than any is the polar bear. Let's have a look and see what's going on there. This is a disgrace that humans couldn't care less. They would rather eat meat and clear-cut forests so that they can have their meat. And this is the consequences. Something thousands of miles away that has nothing to do with humans ends up looking like this because we are taking away the forest to bring in cattle and other meat industries. So, in the line of meat eating, let's talk about that. There's been another new study by Oxford University. Let me tell you about these new studies and the reason there's so many of them. How do you like my red glowing hat? That's amazing. These studies are all pouring out right now because in the last 10 years there's been all this doubt about all these things, meat eating and climate change and all that, so there were all these studies put out. And now they're all coming out. And they're more devastating than the way it was before the studies. But let's talk about what happens if you eat hot dogs, bacon, or salami. You have a 20% chance of increased colon cancer, bowel cancer, and other intestinal cancer. 20%? How much bacon can you have? Practically none. Almost any bacon or processed meats in these ways will cause major problems in your intestines. They're just not made for these kind of foods. So the human bacterium that lives in your colon thing doesn't know what to do with all this stuff. And you end up with cancer-causing elements sticking to the walls, which then causes cancer. So they also found another group of meats that were just behind as dangerous as hot dogs, bacon, and salami, was pork, beef, and lamb. That'll give you about 18% chance of having cancer. There's a really good reason to not eat meat, because who wants to go through bowel cancer? Could you imagine? Look up bowel cancer and see how fun that is. There's just so many reasons we should not be eating meat. Think of the polar bear when you're eating meat. Think of the animals. 60% of all life lives in the forest, and we're destroying the forest. Almost everything in the forest can be useful to humans and other animals. Why on earth would we be so selfish to eat something that's so detrimental to you and so detrimental to the planet. You know, that's part of humans changing to a one-type society, is they have to start thinking of others, whether they're human or not. All animals and bacteria need their space and must be kept there, alive and happy. It sort of reminds me of the insides of humans. There's a whole bacterium group that lives inside of it, and if they weren't there, we wouldn't be here. We'd be dead. If our bacterium gets out of balance, we feel sick inside. We end up getting very sick, going to the doctor or staying in bed, but you can feel sickness. Well, our planet is feeling that sickness. The virus right now are humans. Is there something we can do ourselves, each one of us, to help the poor polar bear survive?